Good morning, everybody. Get some charts up here. Guess everybody saw the news. U.S. downgrade. Never know what might pop up, right? That throw a monkey wrench in whatever's going on with the markets. But the heads up was yesterday, and I mentioned in the green room here, the 30-year bond is moving up and starting to break out. And it's like, what the hell's going on? Now we see the news today. So somebody knew yesterday. This is the 30-year yield. You can see how, it's moving up and continuing to move up. And so does it matter? Yeah. America's got to pay more. You want money, right? You're of a higher risk now. You got to pay up. People want higher rate to lend you their money. So now we look at the chart. We look to the left. It can go considerably higher. And look at the bottom here. And this whole year, I'm just thinking now as other things that didn't seem to make sense during the year, meaning what didn't make sense? Well, these yield curves historically, I don't know if it's related to this in some way. People know things that we don't know. Possibly, not possibly, of course, there's somebody that is on the inside knowing something, but the yield curve being so inverted, historically, and staying that way, and the market's going up. It's like, what's going on here? What's broken? And so now, we see this news today and thinking, well, it was this kind of brewing under the surface, and certainly could be. What's this government doing? Printing money like what? The presses are just going trillions of dollars, wasting it, spend on this, spend on that. And if you were doing that, or your neighbor was doing that, and you see that they're spending what's not sustainable, and then they say, hey, you know what? How about lending me some money? And it's like, yeah, right. Get lost. So, and here we are. So I think this keeps going up. It can't be a good thing, and could lead to what we started saying a couple of weeks ago, that, hey, our internals here are giving us a heads up, and we've seen a lot of, markets continue to grind and sideways, and they still haven't violated any support yet. But there's the line in the sand under that big red bar, and SPX breaking below there. And if it breaks below 4,500, I believe there's going to be a downdraft down to 4,400, and this could be what fuels it. So we shall see as this unfolds. And right at the moment, the market's taking it relatively lightly, but that doesn't mean that they're not, sellers aren't just waiting for the open to, unload. Technical bounce. So we'll see how that plays out. So 3 days of going nowhere. And so this was going nowhere, right? Prior to that, then there was the gap reversal day on that economic news and selling. So now in retrospect, you wondered, somebody know something? Why did they sell into that? So this was kind of weird, meaning here's this resting period, and it gaps up, which you would consider to be a professional gap, right? Because it's gapping after going sideways in a bullish trend, and it gets crushed. But then it goes nowhere again. Kind of strange. But this is what a picture of uncertainty looks like, where it's just going nowhere. You get this wild move, and now it's like, what's going to happen? So prices down here, I guess this was in the middle of the night, were all the way down at the bottom of the wide range bar on SPY, on that support. and there was this technical bounce up into resistance, and now they're pulling back, which suggests maybe they go down here and retest this area. And you can see on the hourly chart, all the support that's down there, and close to 450, 451, whatever. But the pivots are there. And so it bounces up, and now it's coming back in, and it's still just in a trading range. So, we'll have to see if today evolves into something more. The weekly chart, that bar is still developing. It's Wednesday, but the momentum slowed down, 460, big number there. And of course, at the end of the week, if this goes out with a little narrow range bar, or maybe a more red one, it does imply pullback, on a break of a prior bar's low. So whatever the time frame is, excuse me, we look at that, meaning the first reference point of support is a prior bar's low. So if it's a narrow range bar, it's real easy to break a prior bar's low. And if it's a narrow range bar after running up for a period of time into resistance, it's suggestive of a short-term top. And then, hey, we'll see how far things go. All right. Futures, you can see what appears to be a topping pattern. We'll see if we get a close under the pivot low, bounced off of that area and the rising 20 MA. Here's the pivot on the hourly time frame, greater than 100% retracement, technical bounce, and rolling back over. Looks like it's going to move back down and test some support. A put spread at 4,500. Well, you saw the juice this morning. So this news has got option traders more bearish, buying more put options. And now, last I looked, premium was down here, down below the 20 MA. And so yesterday, it was at the bottom of the wide range bar, and things are tight, and at the top of the wide range bar, and it never went near the strikes. And so now you're below, right? You're below 4,500. Yes. So 4,595. If the selling picks up at the open, I would imagine we can get down below 4,495, and there's this unfilled gap down here, and more significant support, which no matter what's going on news-wise, that's a tremendous move in a short period of time. And odds are buyers would come in, because of some support to the left, unfilled gap, whole numbers, whatever. So we look for a safe area, relatively safe, right? As technically, historically, could possibly be based on average ranges. So down here, down below here should be fine. And right now, I don't know why things could turn around on this news and come back up again, but for whatever reason, buyers do some things that don't make sense to you or I at moments, but we can't argue with it. So down here just seems very reasonable that would be too big of a move to get down there in a single day, especially with you've got one rating firm that came out. Now, if another one, Moody's was to come out in the middle of the day and say, hey, you know what, we agree with that, I think you'd be a hell of a downdraft. So that kind of, possibly unknown risk, on more news of a downgrade could really start something more. So just keep it in mind. All right. Look at the Qs. Where are they at? So this was looking good. Was looking decent, let's say that way. It was always the possibility, the thought of, hey, could this turn into an M top type of situation? But this gap up and then this consolidation was supportive that it could go higher. And now, moving back down to the bottom of the range, that really throws a monkey wrench into that whole bias of that, hey, if it can take out this high here, it could go higher. It seems extended, but hey, it could become more extended. And, I even mentioned in the latter part of the day in the green room, it's like, man, this thing looks really good that it could go higher. It ain't going to go higher by itself. Now, you've got these moving parts that make doing something in the moment could make it more difficult. And so based on the bearish news of a downgrade, well, you got Apple and Amazon tomorrow, can they come out and, blow their numbers away? I don't know, but there still could be this hesitancy to sell just based on, right, the risk of, hey, what if they come out and they're doing great? So, this gap down just, again, throws a monkey wrench into what appeared to be an excellent pattern to go higher if it could take out these highs. All right, let's flip through the rest of this. Still okay. We'll see. We're going to see how much it comes down. I think, it had the pre-market bounce there, coming all the way down here, while would be obviously a deep retracement. Technically, in the short term, I think buyers would give it a shot just because of the support. And we've already covered over the last week or so that the Russell is up against all of this resistance here. Makes sense that momentum is stalling, breakout failures begin to happen. And you can see it this morning, that breakout coming back in under the base. Support is down here, intraday. This could, be a decent day trade scenario coming down here. And one of the things to keep an eye on here, this morning, with these interest rates going up, is the banks. What are the financials going to do? So we only got dots here pre-market, but regional bank in ETF gapping down. XLF. See what that's doing. That was down under the base this morning, still an uptrend. Support's down here. But hey, this is how things begin to make turns. In a bullish trend that things are looking pretty good. They're consolidating. You assume, hey, consolidation, breakout higher. And then they start breaking down. Everybody starts thinking, hey, it ain't going to keep going up. I better sell. Gross sharing 194 is important support on the Russell based on option activity. And look where it is right here. So this starts to break. And you can see the unfilled gap down here. You can see where my alarm is technically. This starts to break. The Russell's up at this resistance area up there. So the ETF, and coming down here, well, it'll hold. Well, and once this breaks here, odds are it comes down here, and then it tries to hold again, and we'll see what happens. But things appear to be starting to deteriorate. Dow sideways, hasn't broken down yet, just chopping around, but creating an area of consolidation. So if it does break, then you've got this area of overhead supply, uptrend. Everybody's bullish, maybe not everybody, because somebody's selling, and it goes sideways. And the assumption is that it can go higher, 3,600 or more. But now, if it breaks down below here, that begins to change. Common sense. Dollar, we started talking about this going up. It's going up. And why is it going up? Because interest rates are going up. And U.S. is going to have to pay more when they go, hey, we want to sell our bonds. Well, you're going to have to pay us a little more money now. Silver coming in a little, of course, gold coming in. And with the dollar going up as it is. Crude oil, momentum is slowing. Why? Look to the left. Oh, it's backing off a bit, so that's a good thing. But look at Bitcoin. Look at that bottoming tail. Yesterday, we were talking about this consolidation. It tags the 50 MA, right? The weekly is still bullish, and it pops back up again. We want to keep an eye on this. Does this, it's coming back in. Does this recover after this breakdown failure and then start to turn up, which would support stocks related to this, or ETFs could move higher. So this is an idea to keep an eye on to see if this was a fluke, or, hey, does it handle this resistance and then start to turn higher again, which is going to create more opportunities for us. So something else to keep an eye on. That's it from me today. Lots of interesting stuff going on. We'll see how it unfolds throughout today, and day by day, week by week. All yours now.
Morning. Yeah, I always look at the futures last night before I go to bed, and I noticed them down 18. I'm like, oh, what happened? That was a shock. My immediate reaction was I didn't see any bad trade station. I didn't see any bad earnings, and I was scratching my head. Well, what caused that? So GNRC, I saw this going down. Yeah, so Alex said it was earnings, but TC said 8.2, so that's why I was kind of confused. But well, I got it in a window. We'll see what it does. We did a couple earnings trades. Let's just start at the top. And they're all fine as of right now. AM. Oh, but I thought right. But I thought it was post-market. AMD. This, if it didn't have earnings, this is a nice bottoming pattern. We were looking to sell the 105 puts, but there's not enough juice. Starbucks, we did what's called a short iron condor. We sold the 108 $3 call spread, the 96 $3 put spread, and it's only gapping down 50 cents. So that's a home run in terms of we're going to get our volatility contraction. VRTX, I don't see anything. PXD 228, it's too extended. 30-minute low, I'd consider. Today's Wednesday, so I'd consider it 2 DTE put spread. A little dollar stock here getting whacked, no interest. Luma, I think that's in the EV or solar space, I forget. Space, another dog. Pins. I didn't give this official, but Sam and I sold the 25 puts. So I'm bidding 2 cents to close them. 27.80, no great pattern now to do anything. Oh, you did? Cool. Yeah, I do a lot more trades. Some people ask me, do you take every trade? I'm like, no. Number one, because I can't, I need a trading assistant. But number two, I do many other trades that I don't give. DBN, I got about 13 open trades right now myself. 5 of them are these earnings trades, and they're all doing fine. Devon 52.16. No pattern. VFC 1865. That's a 30-minute low. Short idea. Yeah, it's a bearish gap under all this. Mitch. Oh, that just collapsed a little bit here. We did sell the 42 puts. So I said, I thought it was going to open at 51. So this is exactly what you have to be aware of on earnings stocks. There could be pending news, analyst comments, etc. So let me tighten the stop under 44 also. because we're probably not going to get filled at 2 cents like I thought we would. So let me just type that real quick. 144 is not filled. There. All right, Moss. You know, so many things are toppy now with voids. That looks like a day trade short and or a call spread. GNW, $5 stock. Had a nice closing breakout on Monday. I'll keep that on the list. These are same call spread idea. AIG, no pattern, you're gone. SU, same. SFM, you know, this was a bearish pattern, topping pattern going into earnings. Now all the way down here to 35. I have no idea what it's going to do. Are buyers going to step up? Or are they going to keep selling off deeper into this? I have no idea. Chillis, I don't like the way it trades, but it kind of looks like a condor candidate. I don't like the overlapping bars. Flowers opening flat. It was up, now it's flat. I'm going to keep this on the list. You know why? Because it's actually bullish daily, weekly, monthly. So let's see. 30 minute high. This could be interesting. I'm running out of space here. Let me put that. I'll just set an alarm. No pattern. Boston Properties, techs up a little bit. That could be a 2 DTE put spread. 73. There's a nice gapper. There you go. I got Starbucks on the other computer, so let me put Aflac here. That's a nice gapper. Just right over that red bar. The only thing that would make it nicer, if this 20 wasn't so far from the 50, meaning if the identical gap happened over here, closer to the 50, then I would like it better. A 91 in McGraw, this is a beautiful call spread candidate. And see, folks, I throw all these ideas out like that's my bias. So somebody needs to watch if you're interested in the trade and tell me in the green room. But my bias is if it cannot bounce much out of the money call spread. Well, McGraw, you know, it's earnings. You know, so they're obviously going to come in. I just don't know by how much. So I'm going to put that in a window too. Yeah, always on that one. No, I hear you. Right. We call them the usual suspects that are juicy. 895. This is getting whacked all the way down here. We'll see what it does at 10 a.m. This is a airline Frontier. You know, I heard the guy on TV talking about his earnings, and he said they have like a $400 unlimited fly wherever they fly for, I forget for how many months, but you know, I've been wishing airlines would do that my entire life. Like, let me pay 10 grand and just fly wherever your routes are if there's space. All right, EA 131. Gap's too big on the support. WTI, no pattern, but that would have been okay if it took out Monday's high. CHK, don't like the way you trade. Rover, big gap up, but gap's too big. Airline timeshare. AXTA 3040, big gap, no pattern, fresh. Now this was one I was wanting to sell, $16 puts, but there was no juice. But that's a nice pattern and a nice uptrend, nice daily, weekly. Gap's too big though. I said, gee, solar stock, big gap. That's a monster gap. I have it here in the middle chart. That could be a 2 DTE put spread over 30-minute high. Don't like the way this trades. Unum, if it gets over Monday's high, then I like it, because then yesterday's bottoming tail is a continuation. MDXG, this was on my list here. On this gap up day, we traded it, I think just as a day trade. But that's bullish price action. Pru down, call spread idea, ELF. I was looking, remember, I forget if I was looking at the hundreds or 95s. Look at that thing gapping all-time highs. Absolutely amazing. Man, look at this monthly. Now, I'm going to keep this on my watch list, because I promise you, I don't know if it's in 1 month or 6 months or 18 months. I promise you that monthly is going to retrace eventually. I just don't know when. But that's going on my permanent watch list now. APAM, I don't see a print. Vimeo, I was wanting to sell puts. SCI. Oh, this is one of our put spreads, or naked puts. Okay, so this one's going against us a little. We have the 6250s though, way down here. So I'll be looking to get out of it. Allstate, I was looking to sell. I forget which 102s. I don't see any prints though. CDLX. It's just too extended now. Silk, no pattern. DHC, no pattern. NVRO. I'm gonna set an alarm. I think I might have yesterday. I set an alarm. Yeah, I did. Look at that. 2540. Already got an alarm. Because that would be a breakout of a bottoming pattern. Morgan Stanley, my low alarm at 90 just went off. We've been watching this for a potential turn. Still not ready. Mr. is one of these Bitcoin technology stocks too, opening fairly flat. So option sellers would be getting paid for that. All right, so I got a number of alarms here going off. Goose, SCI, we know about. Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait a few minutes for the options to tighten up. Sky, we also had way out of the money. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, these option market makers at the open, they're just jerks. Well, actually, the 10-cent bid is me on the 62.5. So, but it's 10 cents by 90. So they're not, that's the problem. They're not playing nice.